Hello. It's been a minute, and by a minute I mean like a week, maybe 2 weeks. But I love doing some live streams for you guys, so I'm just kind of setting up real quick, and then I will get started. I'm actually gonna try and cast some customs while I'm, here. So that's gonna be a fun little thing, So, cause I don't really cast these customs on live stream a lot. I just mostly, unmold them if anything. So it's a little impromptu, but almost all my streams are. I hardly ever plan out that I'm gonna stream a specific day. I just pick a day that works. Hello, LPS Foxy. All right, so I have a couple customs I haven't shown you guys, so I'll pull those out. Let me grab them. They're not all great, so just a little warning. All right, so we have a couple that I really like and a couple I very much dislike. So this one, I'm still working on painting the eyes and stuff. I'm just gonna do her eyes. She's gonna be very simple. I love this custom. We have this guy, and that's the one I tried unmolding. Hello, Serenity. So that's the one I tried unmolding. If you guys remember, and the stream kept getting closed down. So I'm trying to find something to prop this camera up at the right angle, but ouch, doesn't seem to want to work with me. There we go. Hopefully this doesn't flip back on me. So there's this guy. Alright, the camera does not do him justice. He's a lot lighter in real life, and look at, you can't really see it, but you can see through more of his head. He's definitely prettier in real life. And I think I'm gonna paint this guy. Hello, Shadowfuck Studios. And then I think I'm gonna sell this guy as a base because I've had some people interested in this. Would you guys like to see more customs kind of like this with the more glitter in the head? Now, here are some failure customs. So we have this one. I'm not a big fan of it. They're kind of like rainbow-esque, and the bottom of the head on this one didn't quite cast. So I'm gonna try and sculpt the rest of the head, put it together, and I guess I'll have to finish it as a custom, because I'm not sure anyone's gonna... I could always sell, the miscasts, and I'm sure someone could create some really cool customs with them. I'm just not sure if anyone would want to buy a miscast, Because if I can turn the miscast into, a finished product, I can... in the least, money-hungry way possible, make more money off of it. Or it's more profitable to me, plus more people would be interested in this. This one, the head just kind of came off. Other than that, you just stick it back on. How did you make the mold? I custom made the molds. There's a million YouTube tutorials about it. I used Purple Mold Maker from Amazon. I don't remember the exact brand. This one I'm really happy with. I like this, splashy kind of look. It's not perfect. The blue and the white kind of mixed together a little bit, but I think it looks pretty cool. I think I'm going to give it gold eyes or silver eyes. I haven't decided. Maybe a gold eye and a silver eye. This one was a little experiment. The foot is a bit so I'm probably going to fill that in with some epoxy and then just paint it black. But I think this one looks kind of cool. There's a black spot up in the head. So it's two different colors, the body's black and the head's this blue. And once again, my phone does not seem to want to do these justice because they're way more pretty and glittery and sparkly, Aside from, I don't know, this one captures this one pretty well. Do I use buckram for fursuit eyes? No, I actually use plastic mesh because and it does look, alright, so plastic mesh looks a little more meshy than buckram, but you can see through it better, and you want to get the small grid mesh. They're at Joann's and Hobby Lobby. They're $1 for a sheet, and a sheet will last me at least 2-3 pairs of eyes. So it's a worthy $1 investment. But I like it just because it's plastic. I can hot glue on it. I'm familiar with working with plastic, so I guess it just, I don't know. I like that it's plastic though, so it's that you're not poking through that. The painted part of the eye is going to pop off the eye before you poke your finger through that plastic. Plus, I think I've never been able to really find buckram. This one I thought was really cool. I don't like the seam going up her face. So I might try and do like some intricate head thing to cover that up. But as you can see, she's like got a bunch of different colors in her. And it comes down, it's kind of streaked. Her paws did not come out. I even tried putting more resin in the mold. That's where his like white parts of the tail came from, to see if I could fix it, but alas, no. So I kind of just sculpted a paw on, which is not my best work personally, but it's like kind of hard to tell. It'll look much better once it's white. Now these two are miscast, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. This looks, in my opinion, really pretty. It actually looks rather matte, and I'm not sure if I want to leave it that way. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the legs. If I want to sculpt them on, or if I want to do something else with this custom. I'm not really sure. So it really depends. And this one, I put like a marble in the head. And that like I've got most of a head. So I'm sure I could finish the head, but I'm not sure if I want to sculpt my own body, or if I want to finish the head, find an LPS body, and then just stick the head on the body. Because that could also work. And he's missing a chip out of the back of his ear. So they're miscast, but they're really pretty looking. So once again, I'm not sure if I'd want to offer, like, hey, is a miscast or obviously a highly discounted price. I'd be like, go wild, you know, because I'm sure people could come up with really creative stuff. But I personally wouldn't want to buy a miscast, so when I made this one, I also made this guy. I got a bird skull mold, and I've been in love with it. I know it won't really go on any of my customs. Maybe a Great Dane. Maybe this Great Dane I'm working on, I might be able to use a bird skull with. Because I'm planning on actually making one during the stream. I'm actually running low on resin, though, and I don't want to buy more because I just got some, so yeah, these are going to post my... I do use resin. Resin, be careful with it. Please do your research on resin. That's always my advice with that. And, you know, it's sticky and it's toxic and all that fun stuff. I'm trying to find... I want to put this on, like, the head of something. I think I have an idea of what I want to do. It's just a matter of now, you know, doing that idea. I suppose, right? Anyways, let's see. Got any good prompts to talk about? I got fur ordered for my full suit. It's going to be a digigrade full suit. And I'm actually going to use a duct tape dummy this time, because last time I made a full suit, I didn't use a duct tape dummy, and that was a very bad decision. Don't be like me and do the stupid things, no. But other than that, not a ton going on. Quarantine has just killed my motivations. Has anyone else kind of like been like that, where it's like, I've like, oh god, it's been so hard to want to work on something, and when I do, I'm like, alright, I need to work on that full suit, right? I need some glue so I can glue the fur down on the face, like, once I sew it, right? All the craft stores are closed, so I can't get glue. So I'm like, alright, I'll have to get it on Amazon, right? But then, you know, Amazon shipping is going to be, like, 2 weeks, so I've got to order that and then, you know, wait forever. And it's, yeah, see, at least I'm not the only one, because I'm a pretty big, like, bargain hunter when it comes to, like, getting customizing stuff. So I love, like, the dollar store. It's a great place for hot glue. Let's see, Hobby Lobby for fursuit stuff. Motivation went poof. Same. I've actually been working on, like, free OC redesigns, and I've done 2, and I just need to film, like, myself talking, and then just put it on the screen, because I don't really have characters still, so it's just going to be a picture of, like, one of my characters, right? But, like, with the OC redesigns, it's just been, like, I've done 2, I'm like, alright, I could do more, and I could include, like, 2 or 3, you know, in the video, or I could make it just 2 and talk about it, because it's basically me redesigning other people's characters for free. And the thing is that they kind of agreed they're aware of making this into a YouTube video, and that I'm going to critique their design, and I did mention that I can be a rather blunt with design critique, and that also, you know, my personal tastes are obviously going to bleed into how I design the character. Like, I'm not going to be able to stop myself from, you know, adding certain elements I like, because I'm redesigning the character. And they, you know, I provided examples of, like, what the characters I make look like. And people could request something. And one of the requests was actually, make the new design fursuit friendly. And I want the same colors. And I said, okay. And I did that. And I'm really happy with how it came out. it looked, in my opinion, really good. Like, I really liked the design. Oh, Christ, my voice just cracks like there's no tomorrow. But yeah, so that was really fun. And I really do like doing the OC redesigns. I feel like I like doing them more than people know. Even if I am essentially just giving it away. I'm giving a character away to someone who, like, you know, wanted the OC redesign. Although, one of them was my friend, and I love my friend. Her name's Amber. She has her own YouTube channel if you want to check her out, Amber the Keaton. And she, like, I can tell because I know she's very attached to her character's design. Most likely wanted it as more of, like, a, you know, I want to see how my friend would, like, you know, redesign my character. And that's what I did. Hello, LPS Soldier. So that's what I did, and it was really fun. I'm trying to measure out the right amount of resin I want to use. It's also a matter of, what would you guys like to see? Because this one I think I'm going to do on a Great Dane. But I've got to tape up the molds. I haven't been taping up my molds, and they've been leaking. And that's not good because then I don't get a full cast. And that's, like, why this guy looks so terrible, is because he leaked. Although I do like how I put the marble in his head because you can't see it, but that means I use slightly less resin, which is nice. And once again, I do have, if anyone's interested, I don't like, you know, just promoting my stuff all the time. But I will, like, in case anyone's, like, been like, oh, I want, you know, a clear custom. I'm making a custom for my sister's birthday. I've actually done that with siblings of mine, and my siblings personally haven't liked it because they're not into art. They're not into, like, all the stuff I'm into. So to them, it's, you know, so it depends what your siblings are kind of into, you know. Mine personally do not appreciate that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I'm not going to make it for them if they're not going to appreciate it. But other people do appreciate customizing, even if they're not, you know, super into it. My first custom was based off of one of my siblings. I don't know where it is, though. It's somewhere down here. Sorry, there's a piece of resin stuck in the mold. And I've got to get it out because this custom is actually going to be, like, partially clear. So I don't want it to junk up the mold and make it not as pretty as it's going to be. Hopefully it's going to be. I'm trying this new technique where I try and get the resin to look like it's dripping down. And I worry about it just mixing and creating an all purple custom, which wouldn't be terrible, but it's not what I want. Resin milkshake. One second, I gotta grab some scissors. I can't use my good scissors on duct tape. Alright, scissors. I also have a ton of custom. If you guys want, I really do love posting on my Instagram, and I do a ton of, like, polls, and I take questions all the time. I have a FAQ there, like, frequently asked questions. So if you know, have a question, like, how do you make the customs, or do you sell customs, or how do you make this? I do have those saved up there on my Instagram. Not that you're not free to ask them here or anything. I just figured if you're a reading person. If you sell them, yeah, I sell mine on Etsy. I also sell fursuits. And I've had a lot of people kind of be like, huh, because Etsy does take a large percent. Instagram, yeah, oh, thank you. But with the Etsy thing, Etsy does take, so I noticed that my prices are a little high, but you do have to keep in mind, I think on LPS Customs, I do cover shipping or something, I think. I'm not going to lie, it's been a while since I've posted a custom on Etsy. The two that are up there have been up there for a while, and I'm getting desperate, but I'm not going to lower the prices anymore, because if I lower the prices, essentially, I'm not going to be getting, you know, what they're worth. And I know it sounds, like, terrible, but that's true. So I'm just, you know, waiting on those two, and I'm gonna actually sell my fursuits via Etsy. And I've had a lot of people kind of, you know, I say I only sell my fursuits on Etsy. They've been a bit, you know, like, huh? Because Etsy takes a large chunk. I think Etsy takes like 10% or something crazy of however much you make from selling something. So although it's, you know, they take more of what essentially I should be earning when I sell a custom, sell fursuits or something. I don't sell directly to people when it comes to fursuits. One, because I'm not going to hold it for the hopes of one specific person going to buy it. Now, I'd rather list it somewhere and have, you know, someone buy it that way. And then also, I don't trust people. I've heard so many horror stories of people charging back on fursuits and stuff, and I'm just not here for it. I'm like, I would rather, have peace of mind and have Etsy take more than have to worry. Etsy takes, I might be getting a dino mask for my first fursuit. That's cool. I've been asked my opinions on dino masks before, if you guys would like to hear those again. But I don't know, I have mixed opinions on dino masks. Like, on one hand, it's really cool how people are getting, like, dino masks, and they can essentially make their own fursuit for rather cheap, and it's a lot of young furs, right? My only problem is, I see so many that look the same. Like, I've been blown away what people have done with dino masks. My problem is a lot of people just put the mask on and be like, it's a fursuit. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, that's a mask, and that's okay that it's a mask. But I don't think you can equate my custom-made fursuit I spent, 16 hours working on to a Target mask that someone just put on. Now, I do appreciate, what I've seen a lot with dino masks is really cool paint jobs. And that's personally my favorite part about the dino masks, is that they're a hard surface and you can paint on them, which is pretty freaking dope. Like, that's really cool, how you can just paint on it. And that's actually, I like a lot of fursuits that are like that, where like the face is hard and it's painted on and it's sculpted on. And that's just like a personal preference. My problem is a lot of people, like, I have a hard time finding unique dino masks. And I do attribute some of that to the fact that I don't go looking for dino masks, because I don't really go looking, that's not personally my favorite kind of suit, so I don't go looking for them. But you know who's using the dino mask fursuit tag that shouldn't? LSD fursuits. Oh god, I hate her with a passion. If you're not aware of her, I did a live stream where I talked about, like, everything she's done, and there's so much evidence on her. And my whole thing is, how does someone, like, now I don't know this because I've never bought a character from someone with, like, actual money, or, like, bought a fursuit off someone, or commissioned a fursuit, because personally I would rather make it myself. And I'm a minor, and a lot of, fursuit makers don't work with minors. Reasonably so, please. That's like a huge thing of mine. Don't get mad if a fursuit maker won't work with a minor, because there are very good reasons. Like, I've seen firsthand minors, and people be like, oh no, I'm totally an adult, and when the maker finds out, they're like, I don't work with them, because, kids are more likely to try and get a fursuit for free. And I know that sounds bad, and that's the thing. If you know you wouldn't do that, just know, like, that's good, because you've obviously, like, how this stuff works. But apparently some, kiddos can't get, that through their heads. And, that's frustrating. I've been scammed by kids before, when it comes to customs and stuff. So, I can completely understand a maker not wanting to work with minors, which is why, I just understand it, and I completely, I'm like, I get you don't want to work with minors. That's why I have an Etsy account. Because if a kid wants their parents to buy it, the kid can, or if you're a kid, I'm not sure how old you have to be to have an Etsy account. You might have to be 18. I don't know. You might just have to have an account that's 18 plus. I have no idea. It's been a long time since I've set up my Etsy. But that way anyone can buy it. Like, actually, the suit I sold on Etsy was actually bought by a mother for her kid, and I thought that was really cool. Now, I'm not going to shade them for not leaving a review, because I feel like that's what people think I'm saying when I say they didn't leave a review. I need someone to leave a review on my Etsy, because I need to know, like, obviously I'm not, like, making crappy stuff and trying to, sell crap stuff, but at the same time, like, I would love, some reviews on there, because I feel like I have, like, no reviews on Etsy, and it's a bit of a problem, because, like, I'm like, oh yes, look at my good Etsy reviews. I can't, like, point people to them if they're asking about, my customs or my fursuits or something. But at the same time, I can't pressure someone into, leaving a review on my Etsy. It's completely their decision. By the way, I'm pouring resin off to the side. I just don't want it spilled on my phone, so I just pour in the resin. This resin has such a short work period. It's only about an hour. My other stuff, I could work with that stuff for 2-3 hours before it even started to get to the point where it's not working and it's starting to harden. This stuff says 40 minutes, but in my experience, about an hour. Give it a little, I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to measure these to make sure they're completely even. They look about there. See how low I'm getting on resin? That's about it. Are my chats showing up? I've seen, here, 1 second. You got a fair point. Thanks to Etsy be taking money. For the most part, yeah. You're my inspiration to start YouTube and customize. Thank you. I love hearing stuff like that. Like the fact that I can inspire someone to be like, yeah, I want to, you know, create my own customs is really cool. By the way, just so you know, because I've seen this post going around and it's absolutely true. And they go, just know that like artists and that YouTubers, we know our regulars. Like if you comment, actually if you comment more than once, I do know, like I recognize you. And that's something like I don't always tell people, oh yeah, you know, I recognize you, but I do. And it's like, it's really cool to see people coming back. And I don't have a knife with me. That sounds really bad. I do have a knife. Oh, I have multiple knives. I need knives to mix resin. So I've got to, I usually just save them because the resin hardens on it. It's not going to pollute it. Some of the knives are sticky though, which is not, it's not fantastic, in fact, to be honest. But these knives will have to do. I'm going to make a skull and a custom, and I think I might actually have enough to make some tiny bit more. But yeah, I'm just mixing the resin in these cups, which 2020 hindsight, this is a lot of resin for such a small cup. God, LSD fursuits though, man, she never fails to amaze me with the crappy stuff she does. And it's just, like, she tried to steal $1,500 from someone, right? That's, like, depending on the state you're in, a felony. And that's, like, insane. Like, she should be in jail. Now, luckily, she didn't steal the $1,500, and the guy got it back. But the fact that she was just gonna, like, sell his fursuit while keeping his money is just so scummy. Because if she would have been like, I don't feel comfortable continuing this commission, and then just, you know, sold the fursuit as is, I wouldn't have been surprised. Because, you know, Becky is not a great person. If you're not familiar with this, you know, she's a terrible person. I know this YouTuber, Simple Nix, I think. I think they're doing a video on her because I saw an email exchange between the two posted on one of the Beware pages because I follow a couple of them. Because I just love seeing how low can this individual go before, you know, they get caught and arrested, hopefully. Because they've scammed a ton of people. Like, if any of you are commissioning a fursuit, I do hope you know, that fursuit should not break within the first month. Like, if a seam on the face pops, that's a problem. Now, if a seam in the body pops, that can be fine. You know, seams in the body pop. They do that. But if the seam in the face pops, or like Becky, so basically the owner of Aurora, a suit, oh, she can go very well. Oh, yeah, hi. Hi, I'm an LPS tuber. Oh, hi. Yeah, so basically the owner had commissioned a suit by Becky or LSD Fursuits or LB from the block. She's changed her name a ton of times. And by the way, somebody changing their name a ton is usually a sign they're kind of a crap person and they're trying to avoid, you know, being called out. Actually, this happened to someone. I actually kind of liked their art. I liked their fursuits. I thought their suits were pretty cute. I was like, oh, maybe I'll follow this suit, you know, or follow this suitor and, like, see all the cute pictures they post. And maybe they'll go out to, you know, conventions. I'd love to meet them. And then I saw that they had changed their name. You know why they changed their name? Because they had an old account name, and they were, like, telling people to kill themselves and stuff. And that is not okay behavior from anyone. I don't care if someone's a kid. I don't care if someone's an adult. I don't care what's going on, but you do not get to just run around telling people that. And that is not okay. And a lot of people, you know, feel the same way because they were like, whoa, they just changed their name and they essentially almost became a new person until someone, you know, called them out. And that's, you know, I don't support artists who are like that. For the most part, I'm pretty good at separating the art from the artist. And I don't, you know, for example, if an artist you like has different political affiliations than you, that's fine. You're not inclined to believe everything. But if the artist, cough cough LSD fursuits or cough cough anyone else, is like a completely crappy person, you're not in the wrong for not continuing to support them. And that's how I am. I was like, I can't support someone who's this, I don't mean like toxic, because I feel like that word's so like watered down because of the stupidity of people being like, oh, they're so toxic, But this person is just a very awful individual. So, I was like, I can't support someone like that. So, I was like, okay. So I usually follow Beware pages. Just, I don't know. Spite, I don't know. But YouTube videos are terrible. You're so always better. You don't want to talk like that. Because trust me, my YouTube videos were god awful for a while. And they're still not great. But they're not as god awful as they were. And like, go back. I keep my old YouTube videos up solely for this. So people can be like, oh my god, look how terrible that is. But look how it's gotten better. And actually, that's why I'm introducing some new series to my channel. Because I want to keep improving. I want to make the character redesign videos. And then I want to, show off some of my fursuits. I have some fursuits I'll be doing for sale. So I'll be doing videos on each of those suits. Talking about them, their pros and cons. How much I'm hoping to list them for around. All that fun stuff. Although I was like, how much for a medium quality fursuit head? And a lot of people said, like, I did like 200, 300, and 400. And I say for a medium quality one, you'd probably expect around 400. And the amount of people who didn't say that was a bit, like, surprising. Obviously, I was keeping my options open. But there were, like, 300 was around the main thing, which is what I was thinking around listing a couple of my heads for. But, I was surprised at the amount of people who were like, oh, yeah, 200. I was like, these people obviously, you could tell who in there voted was a fursuit maker and was not a fursuit maker, because 200, you'll get, like, a low-quality fursuit head. Like, Duchess was, like, I don't want to say she was completely low-quality, because she wasn't horrible, but she wasn't great, and that was about, $250 for a partial, which is a fantastic deal. So I was like, you can tell if someone's a fursuit maker by, like, how they say the fursuit should be priced. I don't know, I thought that was really interesting. And the people who had voted higher on the scale were fursuit makers. And another person was like, well, what's minimum wage in your state? Do you do this for a living? I was like, I do this for fun. I don't charge for fursuits by how much time I spent on them. I charge by their quality. Because I spent far longer on my older suits because I know what I was doing. But I spend far less time on my newer suits because I'm more experienced. So I can, actually, I can make a suit in a weekend. I could probably do 24-hour fursuit challenge, no problem. Now, would I? No, because I don't like staying up late. I will stay up to like 1 o'clock maximum. I won't go any later than that. And that's a personal preference. I'm not a good sleepover. Like, after 1 o'clock, I am tired, I am done. I get mad real easily, and I recognize that I'm probably not the greatest person to be around. So I set that for myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna, be up till this time, because it's not good for me. Whereas I respect makers that can do the 24-hour challenge, but it's not for me. Like, once again, I could do it if I stayed up, but I won't. And besides, I feel like I would really hurt the quality of the suit if I were to do that, so I'd rather not. Do I watch Experiment 58? Yes. What's the current suit you're here? Let's go in order. What's the current suit you're working on? I'm trying to make a two-faced demon thingy from Lola H. That sounds awesome. Do you have, like, an Instagram or something? Because that sounds like something I'd totally love to see the progress on. I am currently making I'm always making multiple suits at once. Like, I always have something going on. So, as of right now, I'm working on the full suit. I have the base for the head of that ready, and it's going to have 2 different heads. Like, it's going to be like a goat, and it's also going to be able to be like a chimera, like a dog with like goat hooves or something. So, as of right now, I have the bases for both the goat and the dog ready, and then for Sakura, my fursuit making mascot, I have her head base ready. but I need to get Minky for her. And then I just finished not too long ago my first full suit. So I did take a little break after that because I was like, ooh, that was a lot of work. It's a slim full suit, which means it's like really form-fitting, which also means I'm going to have to wear clothes over it because as it's a personal preference. I don't like, you know, the slim, tight-fitting fursuit without clothes over it. And people are free to do whatever they want, but that's personally my thing. While making molds, do you use real or fake LPS? And then do I watch Experiment 58? The personal suit, yeah, the tight-fitting one's a personal suit, just because, you know, I don't don't offer full suits. I don't even offer commissions. I would rather, because if I don't like something on a design I have, and it's hard to make into a fursuit, I'll simplify the design, but I can't do that with someone's commission. And then I use a mixture of both. For this mold, I used a real one. For the Great Dane one, I used a fake Great Dane. So it's really just a mixture of both. And then, do I watch Experiment 58? Yes, but LPS crazy. I don't mean to, like, shade, like, you know, like, oh, shade, LPS crazy takes forever to do anything. But, dear Lord, LPS crazy takes forever to make any episode of Experiment 58. And I don't mean then, like, you know, oh my god, she takes forever, because I recognize it's a lot of hard work. But, like, a year is a bit excessive, in my, you know, personal opinion. So, I'm just a little, like, I love the series so much, I want to see more of it sooner. And I feel like that's how a lot of people are. And I know a lot of people pester her because, you know, you're not making it fast enough, this. But I recognize it takes a while. One second, I gotta grab something. Where's my sparkly paint? Sparkly paint. Where is my food coloring? Red and blue, that's red and green. Yellow. Where's the blue? I use gel food coloring to color my resin. So, if you're curious, that's why I'm... LPS, let's see, year to each episode. Yeah, LPS popular. I gave up on that one. I was like, yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up. That, I think Sophie GTV, if you want me to be honest, I don't think she ever intended to finish LPS popular. I think, you know, she got bored and was like, all right, maybe I'll finish it, but it's... Yeah, I don't think she intends to finish it or I don't think she's extremely motivated. Now, I don't keep an eye on her channel. Maybe she's uploading episodes, you know, far more often, and she's doing all this and stuff, and I just don't know. But personally, I don't think she's really cares all that much. Which, to me, I will be completely honest, I don't care about my series LPS Sirens. I don't intend to finish it, and I feel like that's very obvious from the fact that it hasn't had a new episode in a year or so, and I feel like that's very obvious, and it wasn't a great series to begin with. If I was going to make a new LPS series, I would actually want people to help me voice act in it, because I personally am not a great voice actor. And then also, I would, you know, put more effort. I would script, basically what I would do is I would script the entire series at once. I would film the entire series, and then I would have people voice it over, edit it, have the entire series done, and then start posting it. So there was a consistent post schedule, and personally that's how I feel series should be. But of course, you know, it's hard to do that all at once because that's gonna take, you know, a year with no series before you can start, you know. I'm making a series with a garbage camera. That's okay. I used my phone for a while. I still use my phone from time to time. I don't even know if I have a decent camera, but like, it's okay to use your phone because LPS Crazy uses her phone, and she's very obvious about that, I think. Like, I think she does use her phone. I feel like she said it before. And so you don't have to, you know, use a nice camera, because, you know, Experiment 58 looks fantastic, and it's filmed on, like, an iPhone, because iPhone cameras, man, people don't give them enough credit. iPhone cameras are fantastic, especially, like, I only have an 8, so, like, it's not fantastic on my phone, but, like, the 11s and stuff are really good. Her animation, or LPS Crazy, could, like, I solely think that if she wanted, I think, does LPS Crazy go by she? I think so. But LPS Crazy could become an animation channel if she really wanted to. Like, she's that good. Like, I don't say that about a lot of, like, LPS tubers, Because for the most part, you kind of have to stick to what you were originally from. And I know it sounds bad, but that's a problem a lot of YouTubers have, is they can't really leave the niche they came from because that niche made them. Like, same with me. Like, if I were to stop making LPS videos altogether, that's kind of like where I've dug a niche for myself. And so I'd have a harder time, getting views and stuff if I were just solely do furry content, which this isn't the only reason I do LPS content, just to get views. I also do it because I enjoy it. Like, I really enjoy these live streams. I really enjoy talking with you guys. It's nice. Like, I don't do these live streams because they get views, because personally other things I do could get more views. I do these because I really enjoy them. And because you guys seem to enjoy them too. And you know what? It makes us all happy. Why not, right? So did she. Alright. I didn't know if... I could have swore I heard somewhere that she... Yeah, the animation is really good. I'm not personally super into animation. Like, I have done some in the past. It's not great. Like, my animation's pretty... it's... Oh, shoot. I'm just spilling resin everywhere, aren't I? Getting it all over my hands like I absolutely should not be doing, which is... Don't get resin on your hands. It's bad for you. I say as I have it all over my fingers. That's why I keep water around, so I can clean it off and I'll thoroughly disinfect my fingers later. LP's Crazy is just so good at what she does. Like, the Experiment 58 taking forever isn't great, but once again, I can't blame her. She puts so much effort into that. Like, I'm just looking at those sneak peeks where she's like 8 days, and I'm like, oh yeah! I think she got voice actors in this episode and everything, so I'm like I am hyped. I don't get hyped for LPS series very often because I don't really watch a ton of LPS series these days. I can't really find any specifically to my liking. I'm not a whole high school drama person, and that's what a lot of LPS series are, or they're very lighthearted, and I'm not really that kind of person when it comes to, like, the shows I like. Like, if any of you guys are familiar with Beastars, I love Beastars. Like, that's my kind of show. So if you're familiar with kind of that, then that kind of gives you an idea of, like, the shows I like. Beastars, by the way, it's an anime, but they're all furries, for anyone not familiar, and it's really cool. Like, it's an anime with furries in it. Like, that's not something you see. Hello Studios. That's me. Just pleading for attention. Oh, that's all good. I love seeing your guys' message. So, I didn't see that one. We said, hey. Optic betrayed the main character. I don't like how LPS, curse. Hello Studios isn't finishing Soulbound. I feel like it's like, alright. I personally, if I had the skills, would help with an animated Soulbound. Like, if someone said, I want to finish Soulbound, I want to get some voice actors, and I want to animate this final episode, I would gladly join, no strings attached, The downside is, I don't think anyone wants to do that. Like, I haven't seen anyone be like, I want to finish, Soulbound. And I feel like Hello Studios, because I think Hello Studios said she was going to release the script or something. I don't know. I think I follow her, but I haven't seen anything. But yeah, if Hello Studios were to release the script, like, I would totally join an animation project to finish that. It's just that, my skills aren't very good, so I'm sure they'd be willing to accept anyone in the least, like, patronizing way possible. I'm sure there isn't, like, a crap ton of, like, extremely talented animators who would just hop on board. I'm sure there's some, beautifully talented and skilled individuals who would, but I'm sure they would still need help from even people like me, which, once again, I'd be willing to help with that. No problem. Like, that's something I'd really want to help on. So, I don't know, if anyone has seen something about that, I haven't seen anything about finishing it, so I assume no one's doing it, but if someone is, I'd be willing to help out on that. She quit LPS too. That's my main problem. Is that, like, I don't know, I feel like she just kind of left the story. Like, there was one episode left, dude. Like, personally, if, for, like, LPS Sirens, because that series was barely started, if someone were to be like, finish it, I'd be like, kind of like, no, because there's so much to do, it would be worth finishing. But, like, if I only had one episode left, I could be convinced to finish it. I don't know, it feels like, you know. Now, here's the problem. Hello Studios is exactly my reason. Like, she's, like, shows my motivation to why I don't make money off of YouTube. Because I never want this to become because I want money. This is because I enjoy it. And that's why. Now, because there's a combination. I couldn't monetize my channel if I wanted because of the large amounts of LPS music videos with copyrighted music in them. So that's also part of it. I couldn't monetize my channel. But I wouldn't if I could, you know. One, I would not be making enough money off of this for this to be, like, you know, a substantial income. Like, it'd just be a tiny bit. Two, I don't want to. I don't want to feel like this is a job. This isn't a job. This is a hobby. I do this because it makes me happy. I do this because, you know, y'all, like, you know, it makes people who, like, subscribe to my channel happy, too. Like, obviously, you know, like the content enough to subscribe. So, you know, I'm like, this is, you know, for the people who enjoy my channel, not for money. Have you ever made a Pokemon custom? No, actually. I will be completely honest. I've never been into Pokemon. So you know, nope. I've made some that kind of look like Pokemon, but never a specifically Pokemon custom. So I'm dripping this into, like, a tiny mold, so I gotta be really careful. I'm doing it over here. Normally, I'd like to say I normally don't spill resin when I work, but I absolutely do all the time. Which is why I'm probably one of the worst people to ever work with resin. It's not something you should be spilling. And I don't love this shade of purple, but I love how sparkly it is. Here, I'll show it in a second. Alright, you ready? Check this out. Oh, you can't even see it well on camera. It has, like, white sparkly paints in it, so it has, like, glitter down in the bottom, which is really cool. I really like that. I made far too much resin. I guess we were making another custom, I guess. Should I just do a plain clear one? What would you guys like to see? I've got glitter. I could try doing a drippy one. I could put some objects in the head. We have a conundrum. Do you use green stuff? No, it's a waste of money. Personal opinion. I use epoxy sculpt. When I do have to, like, resin can't go in the oven. I don't think. That's what I've been told. So I don't really know that much, so I won't put resin in the oven. But polymer clay is a better deal. You can get a ton for $8, and then, you know, that lasts practically forever. I could make the sitting down Great Dane. I have the standing up Great Dane. I have a Cocker Spaniel. I have a Dachshund, although the Dachshunds always come out with some sort of deformity, but I could always fix it, I guess. You guys have any personal opinions? Clear? Alright, let's do a clear Dachshund. Does anyone have any requests for other stuff to put in it? Because I could do, like, this one's clear with sparkles in it. I put crystals in the head of that one. I gotta close these molds very tightly so they don't leak. There we go. Let's see. Clear, okay. What else? Let's see. I could do clear with the purple accents. I could do the same thing. This one's clear, but the purple's going to be dripping down inside, hopefully at least. So that could be cool. I don't know. I think I will just do this one clear. Just because that'd be a nice base in case anyone wanted it. And if I want to work on a clear base, that'd be perfect. If not, I could just, I'm sure someone would be interested in clear Dachshund, right? Just put that. Sometimes when I run out low in resin, I like to make one specifically I know I'm going to sell. So that way, you know, I can get more resin and start making more customs. Which, by the way, if you see me go a while without making, like, a clear custom, usually the reason is I ran out of resin. Which, you know, sounds like a crappy reason, but it is. So, you know. I also have claw molds, like for fursuit claws or just claw necklace, whatever. Claw molds, molded a bunch of jewelry shapes, and I have an angel wing mold that I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here. Also, this is like what the claws look like. Isn't that cool? It's like a clear claw. This one came out as a miscast. You can see it's rough around the top, but it's pretty cool. Hello, OPS Cookie. What am I looking for? I don't know what I'm looking for. Anyone ever just randomly forget what you're supposed to be doing? Because that's me all the time. Also, I've finally found a custom on a tutorial, because apparently I can't speak today, on how to make those cool clear-eyed customs, because I've made a couple, but I've always cut through the back of the head and put the eyes in that way, and apparently that's not how, like, the main people who do it, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think I'm gonna make some possible eyes. I just have a thing full of, like, resin pieces, because I always make too much resin. In this case, it's enough to make 2 customs, so I clearly am just on a roll with making too much resin. Come on. Thought I filled that mold pretty okay. There we go. Sorry, I always get quiet when I'm dripping resin because I'm trying to concentrate. It's actually why I don't make fursuits a ton. I'm like, my fursuit making live streams are hardly ever me making a fursuit, and the reason of like behind that is because I get really quiet. Like, I'm not used to having people around me while I work, and I'm hoping to get used to it. Plus, I don't like showing my face online. Personal preference, you know. So I'm like, I don't want to show my face while I'm making fursuits, but then you also can't really see because I work like exclusively in my lap when I make fursuits. So that's the most comfortable place to put it. And all that stuff. How do you start a live stream and stop at 4 minutes? What? A Galaxy Star custom. That could look cool. Hello, Lola. You mean how do I live stream for like forever and a day? I don't know. I think I just ramble. I think I'm just rambling this entire time, and no one tells me how bad I ramble. But usually I have like a little topic or something. Today I didn't really have a specific one. I just wanted to, you know, come on here, say hi to everyone, all that fun stuff. It's fun, you know, live streaming. I love conversations far too much. So, you know, this is an excuse to have a conversation. Also, I haven't left the house in forever, so I long for human contact at this point. Anyone, like, this whole not being able to leave the house thing is what's killing me. It's just, oh god, it's horrible. Like, I don't know how people do this. Like, I only leave the house to hang out with a friend, like, once every 2 weeks, maybe once every month. Months it's really slow, but Christ, I am just, like, the fact that I haven't done so in a while. Your live stream stops at 4 minutes. Is it because it's getting reported, or is it because, mine kept getting stopped around there, because, I don't know, it said someone was reporting it, which doesn't sound likely, in all honesty. There's nothing to report, but YouTube's taking down stuff really easily now because the bots are controlling everything right now, because YouTube can't really have people inside the headquarters really manually looking over videos. So that's a bit of a problem. So, you know, content can be taken out. Like, for example, one of my things, it keeps my making of a goat fursuit, or a scrap fursuit, that keeps getting marked for kids, besides the fact that, like, so you can't comment on it and stuff. Like, I normally, like, for the LPS stuff, I can see how they mark it as for kids, and then just don't give me a chance. But for most of my fursuits, it's basically where if you're under 18, you can watch it, but it's not marked specifically for kids, so there's still comments on it. Like my live streams, usually. Because I always say furry or fursuit, so usually that scares off the bots from marking it as for kids. I think it's more of a teens thing. That's, I don't know. I always see people around. I don't know, I make content that I would like. That's always my thing, so I don't know. I feel like that's how a lot of creators are, though. You make content that you would want to watch, and that's usually the go-to rule for when you're making content. Does anyone sell See the LPS in the background? It's me. I don't know. They can't really see right now. They're kind of blind. God, that's a bit morbid. Sorry. They don't have any irises yet. I only have 1 viewer per stream. Actually, I don't. Is somebody reporting it as being not for kids? I don't know. I was also on the worst connection ever. Like, normally I live stream on my Wi-Fi, but I'd been kicked off the Wi-Fi for a reason I don't want to get into. Nothing bad, just people being jerks in my house. So I was off the Wi-Fi. I was on data, and I always have really crappy data. Like, AT&T sucks. And it was, you know, I think it was just bad connection. So it kept kicking me off. So I did try again the next day, and I was fine. But sometimes YouTube was like, all right, wait while we upload your live stream. So my live streams after a stream will disappear for a couple of hours. And then, you know, they'll pop up eventually later the next day or whatever. So just know I don't usually delete my live streams unless something really stupid happens, like the camera flips up in my face or, you know, I have to end it immediately or something. Because I usually like to keep these up. Because actually, and don't worry about, like, if you don't have a ton of people on your live streams. My live streams actually get the most views after they're uploaded. So if that helps in any way, I'm trying to get this down into the mold. There we go. I hope that got in. Sorry, they always are missing, like, their lower jaws and then the tips of the ears, which the tips of the ears isn't bad because you can just, you know, put some epoxy on there and do that. But the bottom part of the jaw missing is, you know, that's kind of a lot missing. So it's always like, you know, I'd like to have that part of the custom, please. So I'm tipping it so it gets down in there. Hopefully it's all in there. It's coming out of the front paw, so I'm really hoping it's down in there because I'm not letting resin leak all over my table. As you can see, filling the molds is kind of boring. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's so boring, you guys don't want to see it. But a lot of people are, like, when I talk about, like, whenever I say, like, oh, yeah, I made a video on how I make clear customs, and people are always like, oh, but that's an hour long. And I was like, yeah, it's me making a custom. I'm like, once again, I figured out how to do this completely on my own, and I'm like, I don't understand why other people can't do it. I understand. I think it's important to give people the tools, because I had no clue what materials I was supposed to use, so I had to guess and say resin, and resin ended up being the right answer. But, so I don't mind giving everyone the tools to, like, make their own clear customs, but I'm not going to give, like, you know, a friggin' 2-minute tutorial, you know. If you want to make your own clear one enough, you can watch the hour-long video, you know. Put it at 2 times the speed. It's just resin and a mold. I spent $75 on it. What did you spend? Ooh, Filmora 9. I use Splice. How old are you? I don't answer that question because people like to use age as a weapon online. Like, I do say that I'm a minor so that people very much know that if they want to, you know, do something stupid. Because people online are stupid. But I don't answer that just because I don't want people like, oh, like in a situation, especially if like I've seen this LPS, you're older and age is not an excuse for someone to be a jerk to me. If they're a jerk to me, I'm going to call them out. And that's what I do. Like, I hate when people use age as a weapon. Age is never an excuse for anything someone does. And unless they're like, you know, especially online. Like, in real life, I can see there being exceptions, but online, no. Age is never an excuse. Oh, they're only 12. Well, they're 12 and they're stealing my art. I don't care. You know, or they're 12 and they're blackmailing me or threatening me. It's still, yeah, it doesn't matter if it's coming from a 12-year-old. You know, I hate when people play like, oh my God, I was doing this bad thing and this artist called me out. Now, I'm 12 and their followers are harassing me. Well, you're 12 and you learned your lesson then, you know? Once again, people always think I'm just being this evil person. I have made stupid posts and been, you know, I've gotten mean comments and stuff because of it. And, you know, I never pulled my age as an excuse because I freaking know that's not a reasonable excuse. If you're old enough to be online, you're old enough to say those things, you're old enough to face the consequences. And I know it's a very strict opinion of mine, but it's, obviously I believe it. Because, like when I, you know, made the post saying, don't ask for free fursuits, and this person was a jerk to me back, and I had made the post talking about them, and they were like, "It's just a kid." I'm like, "It doesn't matter." They were asking for free fursuits, which I get a lot of kids do, right? And I, you know, try to respectfully be like, "Hey, this is offensive," and they were a jerk to me. And the point was that, like, you know, that's not going to save them. Really, you're going to excuse their actions? Because all I'm going to see is someone who's going to continue being a jerk and being a terrible person. So, you know, maybe I'm just this evil person. Who knows? Are you making a German Shepherd? I am now because I still have extra resin. I'm just going to at least make the head or something. I'm going to hope to make the head. I'll get everything in there. I've got to cut a cup every time I do that, though, because it isn't square shaped, so I can't use cardboard to sturdy the mold. It's fine. Yeah, it's an answer. I was just curious. Yeah, it's okay. A LPS tuber got 30K subs in 3 months. That's crazy. That is, dude, I don't mean that like that's crazy in a bad way. That's just, whoa, I didn't know LPS Tube, and I know people like are gonna hate that I'm saying this, but it's basically dead. Like, LPS Tube has a hard time surviving. Which is fine to say that it doesn't get because it's still alive in a sense that people still watch the videos. Like, I still get views on my, you know, older videos and stuff too, but it's not as live as it once was. So it's, you know, it's kind of cool seeing new LPS tubers pop up to help spark some life in it. I make animations in fursuits. That's cool. I don't animate because it takes too long. Like, personally, it's like a personal thing of mine. I don't have the patience for animation. I think that's the best, like, that's the way to say it, because it's true. I do not have the patience for animation. I animated that yes and no animation meme, and it was still very, like, little animation. And I was like, by the end of this, I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, nope. No more. I am all good. So, you know, certain people have patience for certain things. I don't mind spending, 16 plus hours on a fursuit. I'm sure there's some people who probably couldn't do that. But, I'm one of those some people who can't spend, 16 plus hours on an animation. Because personally, my problem with this animation, like, personally, is, like, why I can't do it is there's nothing tangible at the end. Like, I get there's an animation, but, like, the part of me is, like, there's no thing I can hold at the end. Makes it hard to, like, appreciate the amount of time I spent on it. I can appreciate other people's animations, but for me, fursuits are just much better, because at the end I have something, I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like I say things that just make no sense. Do you sell your customs? Yep, on my Etsy. Is it safe for a 10-year-old to use a hot glue gun? As long as you're careful. Ooh, that's really cool. Open for commissions next summer for fursuits. I wish you luck on that. I personally don't take commissions because I don't like them. But I respect people who can put up with other people and take commissions. I hope that, yeah. I personally, I just don't like people enough to deal with them to take a commission. I'm sure that also doesn't sound fantastic. I don't know how one makes that sound fantastic, though. It's rather true. So I'm just trying to finish up the last of this purple resin. I don't like leaving resin in the bottom of the container. But yeah, if anyone's interested in custom, I take requests as well. Like, I don't do commissions, but if you go, hey, would you mind making just a translucent blue Great Dane? I'm always open to it. Like, oh, I'll make a Great Dane. I'll put that up in my shop if I have enough requests for it. Like, do you guys want more customs that are, like, clear? Or do you want more iridescent ones? I'm always willing to hear out people's opinions on those. Do I have my own preferences? Yes, absolutely. And those do, for the most part, kind of, they do for me at least. Oh, geez, I should have put the marbles in the head before that was a dumb mistake on my part. Obviously my own preferences are somewhat going to come in before that. But, you know, I always do take requests for the most part. Yeah. What kind of resin do I use? Something from Amazon. It was like the Amazon's choice for like resin. And it's worked relatively well, I'd say. It's better than the stuff I used to use. The stuff I used to use, you could get for like $15 at Joann's or something, and it was horrible. It yellowed. Like, it yellowed like there was no tomorrow. It was so bad. And like, the customs I have that are made of it, like there's one, and she's like an amber color, if that gives you any reference to how like kind of yellow she is. And yellowed resin just kind of looks gross. And I did say that when I did sell one that was completely clear. Like when there's like stuff in it, you can't tell how much resin yellows. Like the blue customs of mine, you can't really tell. But like with clear customs, you can tell when resin yellows, and it's not pretty. Now, personal. Do you wear any special gear when you're working resin? I should wear gloves, but personally I found that I spill resin a ton when I wear gloves just because I'm not used to them, and I don't like gloves really. So I should be wearing gloves and hopefully a mask, but I work in a somewhat ventilated, like well-ventilated area. Like, my entire basement is one big room, so that's a lot of ventilation, and the door's open to the upstairs and everything, and there's like a vent above me. So I can breathe down here, but you should ideally work with. What do you guys want to see in this next one? So I've got to put some pigments in it. I've got some fun glitters. I don't know if it's obvious how much I love glitter. I have this dark purpley magenta. I have all these blues and greens and stuff. Let's see. What color do I not work with? A lot. I hardly work with green and yellow. I've noticed that. Pink as well, for the most part. I don't know. Let's see, that has blue in it, so maybe we'll add some blue glitter. So you got this blue, that looks pretty. When you start making your first fursuit and you're worried. I can give you a couple of tips and tricks I've learned. You know, sew the seams. I know it's really tempting to not sew the seams, and I didn't sew the seams on my fursuits, and they're terrible. Because, like, aesthetic-wise, I was like, oh, it doesn't matter because it still looks like the same, and, like, it didn't affect the aesthetics of the suit, but it absolutely affected its, like, wearability, and it really does affect it. Pink and purple and a bit of blue. Alright, so we need to give it a slightly pinkish hue. Let's give it one drop of pink, and we'll start. As you can see, this place turns very crowded very quickly with all my resin stuff. I also like to constantly move the resin around the feet holes so more can go in if it drips down the mold, which I hope it doesn't drip out of the mold, but you know. I keep the knives ready that I use for the resin for a specific reason. Alright, so there's resin all the way in that mold. Alright. Let's shut up. Alright, I read messages rather quickly, so if I pronounce something wrong or misinterpret the message, just comment it again and, like, clarify a bit. I don't know. Tell me I got whatever was said wrong. What's another maker who's not super great? I don't know. I like making people aware of scams. I know it's not like the most positive thing to do, but you know, like I think bewares are sometimes more. I won't ever do like stupid bewares. I only repost a beware or, you know, put it on my story or whatever if I deem it important. This is a pretty pink. Sorry, you can't really see my hands in the way. It needs more glitter in there to be more opaque, but it's pretty. Thank you for the suggestion of the pink and blue together. I think that's going to look really good. Then I have to tape back up these glitter packets because you never want to use a whole one because it does lose that translucency look if you put too much pigment in it. It needs more blue. The pink is very overpowering because it's very dark pink. That's cool. Look at that. Sorry, it's really hard to see, but it does look very pretty. And then to make it a little more, you know, like, opaque, I guess, in a sense, so you don't see the marbles, I'm just going to drop a blue in there. If I can get the drop out. There we go. What's my inspiration for LPS customizing? That's a good one. Other LPS customizers would be one. I like art a lot. Like, digital art is usually one of the inspirations for it. Like, oh, I saw this piece and this inspired me. You know, I really liked the colors. Or I'm a huge, let's see. Fursuits inspired me to make my own fursuits. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really cool snake fursuit. I should make my own, you know, snake fursuit. Or I really like how the eyes look on that one. Or, you know. I don't like pick his fursuit. Oh, it's a cool red and white snake. Let me make my own red and white snake. No, but, you know. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry if that glitched out a little bit. It does that occasionally. By occasionally, I mean far too often. But it happens. Did I put my thing covered in? I did not. Thank God. And say, did I put my resin covered knife on my, you know, nice desk that I've already ruined? I hope not. Alright, down the mold it goes. I'm going to have to end soon. Do I have an Instagram? Yep, it's at Sakura and then .studios. Or it should be in the, you know, my descriptions of most of my videos. Except for the live streams. I don't usually add it in there. I should. But I forget. And that's where you can see, for a lot of that, that's where you can see a ton of my, like, finished art and stuff. I think I'm very interactive on Instagram. If I had to describe myself in one word, I like hearing your opinions, and that's usually how I hear them. Also, I do my best to respond to comments. Sometimes a couple slip by me, but for the most part, I like to say, whenever someone says nice, I reply with thank you, you know. As I think I should, especially me being a small art page. It's not, I can be like, oh, there's too many comments to say thank you to. Although, I have to say, my LPS stuff gets way more likes than my other stuff on there. I've noticed it's disproportional. Normally I get, like, I don't know, about under 50 for my other stuff, but LPS stuff will be, like, 200 or something crazy, or 76 on the last one. It's, I guess my LPS stuff has a little bit of more of appeal on Instagram. Which, once again, because I do this kind of stuff because I enjoy it, it doesn't dissuade me from doing fursuit stuff. Which, you know. I follow, you know, I understand because I follow accounts for fursuit stuff and sometimes they post other stuff and I'm not interested, so I won't like it or anything. Sorry, I'm dripping this in the mold and it's really hard to see if it's coming up into the body yet because I feel like it should because of how much I've dumped down here. I'm getting low in resin and I'm not mixing more. Hope it's not leaking. Sorry if this is a bit out of view. What was your reaction for when my I'm a Mess hit 500,000? It's hit 500,000? Oh wow. That's crazy. I'm a little like, I wish some of my other videos got up to there. Like, I feel like that wasn't my best video, and now it's, like, my most popular one. Which is a little, like, on one hand, I'm, like, I'm happy I had a video that blew up like that, and I'm happy that, like, a lot of people can now, like, you know, see, more people can, like, see my content and find me through that, but at another time, I'm, like, I wish another one would do that, you know? Like, I haven't had a video do that well recently, which is kind of, it is a bit upsetting when I work on videos I work harder than I did on that video, and they get less, you know, attention, less views, and stuff like that. That's, like, a frustrating part of, like, YouTube, is, like, there are some videos you make, and there'll be no effort in them whatsoever, and they'll get, like, way more likes than, like, something you put your heart and soul into. And that's just, you know, that's how being online works. So I would, if anyone is creating a YouTube channel, be ready for that, because it is something that happens far more often than you'd think. And like, for example, you know, my fursuit videos where I'm like, oh, look at this fursuit, I mean, those get less attention than my LPS videos. Now, once again, I do this because I like it, but sometimes it can be like, oh, I guess, you know, my audience doesn't like it as much, which is, once again, I don't base my entire, like, channel solely off of what other people like. I do what I like, too. But it does get occasionally frustrating. And, you know, no one's obligated to watch, you know, the videos that I made that I like, that no one else likes, you know? I gotta make them seem watchable, if that makes sense. So I'm filling a mold on the side. You can kind of see the shadow where my hand is. The only downside is you've got to kind of drip resin slowly so it doesn't get a bunch of bubbles in it. Which is why filling these molds took me well over an hour. As I was talking about why I said I would quit the community. Yeah, I've talked about stupid stuff I don't agree with in these streams before, but I'm not going to go rewatch my streams to find, you know, the ones with stupid opinions I don't agree with. I hate when people mock you for, like, changing your opinion. Like, it shows growth. Now you can be like, oh my god, like my sister was talking, like, oh my god, my friend got a ripstick and it's, like, so dumb, and then she turns around and gets a ripstick. That's kind of like, you can kind of make fun of someone for that, because that's like a joking, like, oh my god, it's so stupid, isn't it? And now you want one. But for the most part, I don't like people, like, for example, in a couple of LPS tubers, I've since changed my mind. Like, I've been like, oh, I'm not a big fan of their content, but now I'm like, that's actually not that bad. So when people change their minds on stuff like that, or politics, or being a jerk, or whatever, no, I don't like when people shame people for changing their opinions. I liked LSD fursuits for a little bit. Yeah, and I changed my opinion for the better on that one, because I was like, oh, wow, these are really cute suits. And I was like, this isn't a great person, and I don't support them. And I kind of realized that her suits really weren't all that cute. One second. Sorry, I saw a comment. My Insta pairs. You know, not DM me. Sure. So why did I come back? Are you talking to LPS Soldier? I think you're talking. On a video of mine is what he knew. Alright, so comment said that they knew you, but it was a stranger. Trust me, it's better that someone thinks you're someone else, because I had some friends that weren't that great. I did find my YouTube channel, and they're kind of like teasing me about it, and I'm like, that's... Now, my friends now and I joke about it all the time. Like, they constantly joke about me making, you know, PS videos, which is fine, because it's in a joking manner. The other friends, they kind of always made it in, like, a making fun of me manner, and I realized those weren't the kind of people I wanted to surround myself with. I didn't want to feel like I was constantly being degraded for things I like. Now it's with, you know, the kind of people I hang out with now, it's like, haha, it's your YouTube channel, but it's like it's a mutual joke. It's not like I'm being made fun of. I'm not the butt of the joke. I think it's very important to make sure if you're going to joke about it, I'm like, what? You want me to make a video about it on my YouTube channel? That'll be like a joke. Instead of, oh my god, I saw your last video on your YouTube channel, and start laughing at you, you know? Those kind of people aren't your friends. Those are the kind of people I was hanging out with, and I don't respect them treating me like that. And they would kind of like make fun of the stuff I put hard work into. Instead of, oh my god, I just spent an hour live streaming. Oh my god, you have no life. And that's like a mutual... I hope this makes sense. But yeah, don't let someone ever make fun of you for your interests. Like, if someone's going to make a joke about my YouTube channel in current, where it'd be me, you know, because it's my channel. Yeah, so I didn't respect how certain people treated my channel. And treated the fact that I had a fursuit. They're like, oh my god, you have a fursuit? And, like, dude, it's not like, I don't bring that stuff up IRL, because I know a lot of people aren't comfortable in fursuits, which is perfectly fine. If you have the misconceptions about the furry fandom, and you want to, you know, believe that we all screw our dogs and, you know, take drugs, whatever, right? But as long as you're not going to treat me because of those, you know, wrong stereotypes. You know, it's just, other people would just, they would kind of make fun of me, and I didn't enjoy that. And that's, you know, I am a strong believer of if you don't feel appreciated, leave. And that's how, I'm one of those people who kind of bounced around friend groups before finding people I feel like appreciate me. Alright, that got a little deep, didn't it? Yeah. It's not something that particularly, it wasn't bullying or anything. It was just I didn't feel very appreciated. And so I went somewhere where I did feel appreciated. And it's much better to be around people who appreciate you. And it's, you know, whatever. Everyone finds their clique. Clique. Is it clique? Clique. I've always said it clique. But I'm pretty sure. That's not how I'm supposed to say it. I'm trying to get some tape off. I gotta tape up one of the bags, but it's not wanting to cooperate. So it does go this way. Sorry, I'm trying to get this tape off so I can close up my baggie full of glitter. And it's not. Ah, there we go. Work on your fursuit. Woo! I'm a huge fursuit making nerd, so go for it. Woo! They are so excited. LPS nowadays are on AliExpress. Alright, personally, and I've said this before in streams, I'm not sure if it's very well known. Use fake LPS. It's not worth it to buy the real ones at this rate, because now the real ones are going for more, and it's, here's the thing. If you customize LPS, it's really easy because I buy one. If it looks real, I use it. If it doesn't look real, and it looks cheap and crappy, I customize it. Problem solved. Even if you're not really a customizer, you can always, some customizers will trade for fake LPS. You can be like, hey, now obviously you're not going to get like a rare Great Dane for a fake one. But if you're like, hey, could I have this snail and I'll throw in this fake Great Dane that, its head actually bobbles and stuff. And some customizers will be like, sure, Where do you buy your LPS? I don't buy LPS, anymore. I have like enough where I haven't had to buy a ton. I did eBay though. I've only been making suits for a year. Me too. I think my 1 year anniversary sort of thing was in February, March or something. So I've been making suits for a year. I need to sell. So I was talking to like my family because I was trying to I need boxes before I can sell them, because you have to like give the measurement of the boxes, because in my Etsy, buyer pays shipping. Because here's the thing. It's fine if the buyer lives, super close. Like if someone were to live in the next state over, shipping isn't that bad. But let's say I live in New York, right? And the buyer's in freaking LA. I am now out an extra $50 to ship that all the way to LA than if I were to ship it to Vermont. So you know what I mean? Where the buyer lives really can screw me over if I pay shipping. So I'm like, no, this is where I am, and it says where it ships from. On Etsy, that's where you are. It's your package. Which, that's how I don't want to be like that's just how I am. That's how most sellers are, and a lot of sellers don't like that Etsy tries to make you pay shipping, because it does screw the seller over. Because what if otherwise I'd only be able to offer it in U.S. shipping only. And that's great, now that, anyone who's international wouldn't be able to buy. Only a year or less. One and only Great Dane to custom. Sorry, I'm going to read through these. I actually got to head out in a minute. My phone's at 10%. Last year, only Great Dane to custom. Oh, that sucks. It's been for a little. Hasbro hadn't made new LPS in 2 years. Alright, so this is the last thing I'm going to cover before I head out, because I do have some stuffs to do. I don't think LPS are coming back without either. So either A, they're not going to come back at all, and it's a very likely scenario. Or B, they're going to come back, and you guys remember the Monster High reboot? I think it's going to be something like that. It's going to be completely different. There's 3 options. They're going to be completely different. They're going to be more like Gen 4 or 5, I think. And they're going to really redesign them. Or they could come back with the originals and try and essentially sell it as a new thing, because, the market for the original LPS is kind of gone, because we've all kind of, gotten older. We're not really their age range. But that's the thing. I don't think Hasbro's going to bring back LPS. Personally, but if they did, I think it would be like Monster High with the dramatic reboot. And I think that's not an unreasonable assumption, although I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'd be rejoiced if they brought back. Now, if they brought back Gen 2, it would not be in the same paints. We're not going to find the Savannah Dachshund, right? It's going to be new colors. and probably some new molds too. And I actually wouldn't mind that because the new LPS, the only thing I didn't like about them was the material and that they were a little too cutesy. I get LPS have always been cute, but they were just obnoxiously adorable to the point where it was like, oh, you know, the reason people didn't use them in series is because, you know, this is a very neutral expression. I can, you know, use her in a serious scene. I can't use, you know, the dog that's, you know, it looks like, you know, she's about to, you know, jump off the walls because she's so excited. Ideas for a custom. They did before, yeah. They did before with the generation, you know, 3, 4s, 5s. Because I feel like I think there was a little gap between, you know, when they stopped them, when they started the new line. So maybe Hasbro's planning this big, huge LPS comeback. I don't know. I don't think Hasbro didn't own Monster High. That was Mattel. I really loved Monster High dolls. I still have a huge box of them because my sister and I love them. And I do plan to keep those, and if I have a kid one day, give them to a kid. Because I really love those. Also, you know, they don't make them anymore. They could eventually become collector's items. Who knows? Sentimentality as well. But, you know, I hope LBS come back, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't or if it takes a while for them to come back. But, you know, I'm willing to be an optimist on this one and say, please do come back. Alright, so I do think I'm going to have to head out. My phone's about to die. They have LPS they brought back? Or are those the ones people are selling on, like, AliExpress, where it's, like, the designs? That's how I get inspiration for the adaptables. Ooh, a mood board. Mood boards are nice. I'm back from following you on Insta. Oh, thank you. Alright, so I've got to head out before my phone dies and decides that I have to head out. I will do the outro with a scary-looking LPS who's still in progress. So thank you all for watching. It's great having you all come on the stream. Like, comment, subscribing lets me know that you don't want to see more content like this. Commenting lets me know which kind of content you'd like to see. I've got my LPS Amino, Furry Amino, Instagram, and then Etsy. Those are in the descriptions of usually my music videos. I have all those. So thank you all for watching. My Etsy is LPS Treasure, right, like the name here, but no space in it if you can't find it for some reason. But don't feel pressure or anything. So thank you all for watching. It's great seeing you all, and I will hopefully have another stream.